Hello YouTube, the Eye of Stone here. We are continuing the Let's Replay of Thief the Dark project. Today we are doing the Sword, which is the 5th mission. As usual, we're playing on hard. There will be no saves at any time during the level. This mission is where things start to get weird. Constantine's mansion is not, shall we say, a rational place, and the average thiefy expectation about what breaking in somewhere where there's armed guards walking around, all that applies, but there's a whole lot else going on in this level that needs to be taken account of, and if you don't maintain your sense of bearings, you can get lost very quickly, especially on the upper floors. But once again, I have a suspicion it's nothing we won't be able to handle. That being said, let us jump right in. Here we go. As I mentioned at the end of last video, this is a Thief the Dark project, Let's Replay, and not a Thief Gold, Let's Replay. I am using the Steam version of Thief Gold to pull it off, because that's what's practicable, but I skipped Thieves Guild. What that means is that we are doing this level with the minimum loadout that the game equips you with. I will be egotistical enough to draw attention to that fact one more time. Fortunately, the Sword is one of those levels that is chock full of goodies if you take the time to avail yourself of them. I will head one of the next logical questions off at the pass at this point and mention that we're not going to be doing Little Big World again. That's a Thief Gold thing. Yes, I did sort of violate my consistency in this regard already by going into the Murad extension and down in the Bone Horde. That's on me. But that was a minor violation. I would classify going into Little Big World in a Thief the Dark project, Let's Replay, as a major violation. You know, I don't have anything against Thief Gold. I don't have anything against it. It's just for the longest time, I never had Thief Gold until I bought Thief on Steam, which, if you put a gun to my head, I couldn't tell you when I actually did buy Thief on Steam. I used the discs for a very, very long time. That was my first Thief Gold. Prior to that, I didn't own Thief Gold. And, you know, maybe I just did not bond with the Thief Gold level sufficiently. I don't think that's what the reason is. But anyway, this is tangential from what we're doing here. You can see that I've had all this time to babble because I'm not rushing. We had a guard who was walking down the hall in the front, and we have a guard who is sort of looping in and out of these doors here. We do not rush this level. You rush this level, the loud floors are invariably going to alert Constantine's men, who are very tough and are very organized, just as Victoria warns you they are. I call this strategic thinning of the ranks, so we're going to take this guy down, and then we're going to try to, you know, for every guy you take down, unless you have a distinct reason not to, you take a guy down and then you want to pilfer that area. You know, ask yourself, okay, given the guy I took down, what is the most amount of loot I can get out of an area before I have to take another guy down? And do I actually need to take that other guy down since I took this guy down? That might all come out as a jumble, but you know, there are people who knock everybody out in the level and tell themselves they're playing thief. They knock out literally every single combatant and they tell themselves they're playing thief. There's also people who don't knock anybody out and they tell themselves that they're playing thief. As I have said many times, and hopefully we'll have occasion to say many times more, I sort of take a middle of the road view. The devs gave you a sword. They gave you a blackjack. They gave you an assortment of arrows. To talk about lore a little bit, the first time I saw this hallway with these curved walls, I wasn't ready. I had not failed to notice Garrett mentioned that the house was something of a maze, but that they would actually do this, that the devs would actually make curved walls, that they would actually make it weird for the purpose of making it weird. You know, a weird level might have been a regular room with some ugly skin on it. You know, up at this point, that they would actually mess the level up like this was just unprecedented. At least I was taken very aback by it the first time I saw it. I mean, this hallway right here has always reminded me of the beginning of Disney's Alice in Wonderland, when, you know, she chases the rabbit into the hole and there's this sort of house she's in, and then there's the doorknob with the face on it. That part of the movie and this hallway always seemed, I don't know why, but you can see we are supreme ghosting this hallway by just what I do is I have my hand on the shift key and I'm tapping the S key and tapping the W key. Hold very still. Forget it. I never go in that room. I don't think there's any loot there. If there is, I'm gonna miss it. You open this box at a diagonal. It's just the safest thing. Now, are you done in here? No, you are not done in here. Sometimes you just gotta check these things manually. Sometimes it looks one way, but you can't determine whether or not that's how it really is unless you actually check. And this was another moment. It's like, what? This is a big level. We have a lot to do. We're just getting started. One thing you want to do relatively soon, you know, there's the hallways and the 2 floors associated. There's the hallways and the 2 floors associated with the front of the manor, okay? Then behind that, there's the garden. And beyond that, I would say that there's everything that's above the 2nd floor, which is a separate area. So that's how I divide this level up. You might divide the level up in your mind differently. That's how I divide it up. So given that that's how I divide it up, you know, the sort of area, these first 2 levels in the front of the mansion that pass for a normal house, sort of, not really. If that's the first area, that key I just got out of the closet there, you want to get that sooner. You want to have that key before you go to the garden, or you're going to have to backtrack. Now, again, be careful. Did you see that shot come through the door? Now we've got some more thinning of the ranks to do here. There's a guard out here on the upper floor of the gallery. If we take this guy out, we're going to make our lives a lot easier. Just listen. Now, for those who might be tuning into this Let's Replay for the first time, you'll notice I'm not doing any of the readings. That's because I'm playing this game as vanilla as possible, and it's not playing nice with fraps. There's probably a way to remediate it. If it's as simple as tweaking some lines of command, and you wanted to tell me how to do it, I would be on board with trying that, but I'm not going to start installing patches. This is supposed to be as vanilla as possible. So I only engage with readings if it's mission critical to engage with them, because the screen just goes blank if I do it. Alright, there are more of these to be had in the level. I'm going to go ahead and deploy this one. And we're just going to wait. Thief requires patience, it really does. You're not just a professional cutscene triggerer. You don't get to just get close to an enemy and trigger a contextual cutscene and have him do the fighting for you. You've got to... Oh, I see shit. My W key on this keyboard is now officially an enemy of the state. Merciless hell, that was close. I almost ruined the entire operation. He just barely saw something in the shadows, but he didn't act on it. I'm about to get hit from behind. Are we done? Anyway, Thief requires patience. Yes, it requires manually being able to do everything that needs doing, basically. But first and foremost, it requires patience. Now, he's going to get all bent out of shape. I don't know if you can hear over all the noise that these things are making. That alerted a guard. He will not find us. He will calm the hell down. It's possible for him to find us, or for that other guard to find us. But I think the guard who actually finds us, we might actually have just... Yeah, that, I just wanted to post an update for everybody here on YouTube that did not actually just happen. I know you I know you all believe you saw what you think you saw, but that did not just that actually did not happen. As far as what you're seeing with my health shields, we're working on that. That will be resolved soon. Just disregard it. Alright, let's go in here. Again, I remember this is one of the levels I really vividly remember playing for the first time. And by the time you play the sword, again, for those who are familiar with my channel, I have always talked about how baffling Lord Bafford's manner was for me the first time. And, at first Craig's Cleft wasn't much better, but, by the time you reach the mission, the sword. You know, I was beginning to think that I had a handle on what this game was about, what the story was about, and how this all worked, this world of this game, Thief. And then they threw this level at me, and I was just almost back to square one. It's just like, what is this? I mean, playing this level is quite a trip the first time. Alright, so we're beginning to make some progress on the loot count. This is just a unprovable fan theory, but assuming Constantine and Victoria did not sleep together constantly, based on the layout and design of the level, I have some reason to think that this is Victoria's bedroom. Clearly, we know where Constantine's bedroom was, at least the bedroom that, was allegedly his. That bedroom we just came out of is the only one of comparable size. It's just a fan theory. You can interpret these things however you please. The game itself does not mark anything one way or the other.
Who's there?
There are things that the lore tells us explicitly, and there are things that it absolutely does not address, and there's basically an infinite spectrum of evidence versus speculation in between. Now, I took that health potion. That's my penance for the door opening back there that didn't actually happen, but it remediates the little glitch with the health shields. Let's set this dude a little bit out of the way. We're not going to go up there just yet. Alright, so now we're beginning our criminal mischief in the garden. There's stuff to be had out here. There's a lot of rope. There's a lot of water arrows you can get. There's loot out here. There is loot out here. If you don't do the garden, you're going to miss a fair bit of loot. Again, I'll be honest with everybody. This Let's Replay isn't necessarily so much about me being the baddest ass Taffer whoever was. This is about me getting, badly needed quality time with the game. I just figured I'd bring everybody along for it. It's not as though I've forgotten how to do a knockout. Or as though I've forgotten how to fight with the sword or launch a rope arrow. Not at all. But some good QC time with the game would be very desirable. Now, there's Little Big World. We're not doing it. In Thief, the Dark Project, you can't do it, so we're not going to do it. But, this is not a knockout. This is not a Let's Replay where we go heavy on the knockouts. It's not one where we go light on them either. In the process of making this Let's Replay, my two goals have always been, one, to play every level of the first two games, Thief the Dark Project, Thief Gold, and Thief the Metal Age on hard, which as yet I haven't actually done. And two, just to get some practice. I know I've said that before, I'm just repeating it for people who might be tuning in for the first time. I went from normal to expert back in the day, and I'm not sure which ones they are, because I've played a fair number of Thief levels on the hard difficulty level. I know that I haven't played them all. So I wanted to do this Let's Replay to really learn about what the hard difficulty level, how exactly it is implemented in every single level. As a Taffer, as a Thief fan, I wanted to be able to say, when it's all said and done, that I did not that I, failed to play all the levels of the first 2 games on all 3 difficulty levels. All levels of the first 2 games on all 3 difficulty levels is what I'm attempting to get out. As for Thief DS, there are difficulty levels on Thief 3, on Thief Deadly Shadows. There are. I don't consider playing on all 3 of those difficulty levels as important as it is here. Maybe I'm mistaken about that. If someone wants to explain to me that the changes to the... I see the changes being made to the goals and overall structure of the missions in the first 2 games is if you change the difficulty level, you really change the parameters of how the level's going to play a lot. It has seemed to me that in Thief, it's the same level, basically. It's just a little bit harder or a little bit easier depending. So, I mean, with Thief DS, I just started on Expert, and I can't quite see the merit of trying it on the easier difficulty levels. Whereas, with these first 2 games, there's nuance. The levels, it's hard to put into words. It's a combination of the objectives, certain areas that become relevant or not relevant depending on which difficulty level you suggest, blah, blah, blah. The first 2 games, you change the difficulty level, you're starting to tweak the level intrinsically, whereas I don't see that happening quite the same way in Thief 3. But if someone wants to debate or discuss that point, I welcome the conversation in the comments section. Now, this guy we do not need to take out. There is absolutely no reason to take this guy out in this situation. We're going to pickpocket him, but we don't need to take this guy out. You never need to take that guy out. He's got a circuit a mile long. There's a moss arrow that I want to jump up and get, but I'm not going to do it. That's going to be our loot count. That's the 1,200 loot we need. So that's our loot count right there. We're not going to stop. We're not going to stop pilfering the place, but now we've got our loot for our loot objective taken care of. We're moving right along. We're making decent time. I'm actually, now that we're, we're about halfway through this 5th level, I'm not, I'm actually rather pleasantly surprised. I was worried that I might be, getting rusty. I don't really see that playing out. I mean, I could certainly be playing these levels tighter than I have been. It is not necessary to be a concert recital for every time you load up a level, but I was worried about certain things, and it seems my fears were largely unsubstantiated. There's a little timing glitch I've been having when I do knockouts that I'm trying to work on, whereas I come up on someone too quickly, they catch sight of me, I hit them and stun them. It takes them a second to recover. I get all the way behind them so they can't see me, and then I take them down, and then they get knocked out. That has happened a bunch in this Let's Replay, and if you watch the prior episodes, you'll see it happen, which means it's my fault. It's not the game unpatched. It's me. So I'm trying to remediate that. But other than that one little glitch, I was thinking I was going to be a lot more rusty than I am. So in that sense, it's a good thing. Now, this area on this difficulty level is not mission critical, but there is loot in here, which is why we wanted the key. We wanted to have the key in hand before we came into this part of the level. I want to see if the level awards me like extra credit for finding this thing anyway. Let's see. Probably not. Well, I'll take it with me anyway. I wonder where that whistling is coming from. We should have bought ourselves some free real estate here. You've got to make sure you check and you know, make sure you know what's really in a room, because if you thought that that roof, the other segment of that roof was just window panes, you'd have missed this area. Then, you know, it's like those rafters are made of wood. They will accept a rope arrow. Are you going to take the step to come up here and see if it actually means anything? Oftentimes in Thief it doesn't. There's many a time when it doesn't. There are times when it does. And there's something to get there. Alright. So now we're going to we're going to jump in here and get ourselves some water arrows, because we're going to need these when we go after the sword itself. Cannot have too many of these. Again, you like being in the level. You're not trying to get through the level. You are basking in the level's presence. You enjoy being in the world of the city. Unless you're a speedrunner. No, I respect speedrunning too. It's every bit not my thing, just like ghosting is not my thing, but I do respect them too. I know almost nothing about Thief speedrunning. Now, we're gonna wait for this guy to get where he's going, and then this hallway is not in any real sense any more difficult than the other side of the mansion was. It's maybe a little bit more tense, but if you use the right technique, it's not any more difficult. We're just gonna set up an ambush, let this guy get real close to us and impart a headache upon him. And that will allow us to pilfer the place in relative ease. It's still going to require some timing. Alright, so here he comes. He comes this way. He doesn't go in and out of those doors. He comes over here. See, that's how it's supposed to go. Not any of this double tap. Scare the hell out of them first and then knock them out stuff I've been doing. That's the way we want to see it done. Alright, we're going to come around this way. This is just better. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to chill out here. We've got a guard who's going to come through here and come sort of in the direction of this door, although he might turn about at the other door. I don't know how close to this door he actually comes, but he is going to come into the bar. Obviously, we don't want to be in there on the loud tile when he does. So, we're going to hang out here. The moment we catch sight of his helmet, we're going to close the door. He won't notice. We're going to listen. We're going to let him head back out. And then we're going to rob the bar. Alright, so let's be ready in case that door flies open. Stranger things have happened. Alright, so there he goes. Now, time is limited. You gotta, don't push it too much, but don't dawdle. You have a certain amount of usable time in between his rounds. If you make, the more of that time you make use of, the less you'll be pushing yourself. The less likely you are to make a mistake that alerts somebody. Alright, we're done. Now we can get totally out of here. Now, we're going to the right and down this hall, but we're going to go about it by way of here. So we're limiting the amount of time we're exposed. Now there's going to be a guard, in the front of the house. He's a threat from directly ahead. Let's just do what we came here to do. This is starting to be a decent amount of loot. It's starting to be not terrible. We will be well equipped for our first stab at the haunted cathedral after this. Now, I mean, we're gonna see some of the sights up here, but yes, and the music just deepened an octave. Okay, scary land. The ominous rumble just dropped an octave. We know it's on now, and it's going insane. We've got a bad aural hallucination of a noise that won't stop, so we don't want to look at that for too long. Starting to hear things. It's shambling Lovecraftian abyss we have to not fall into. Constantine entertains the blind idiot god Azathoth. Okay, let's just get the sword. Don't ignore the sights, but you've got to maintain a level of a sense of purpose, or you're just gonna get caught up here. They get you, master. They get you. Those tiles are loud. He's not dealing with forgiving error margins here. This is going to be our entry and egress route, so in case there's a little boo-boo, we're going to have some, if they're not there when it happens, they won't hear us, and we might just be able to get back up here without getting busted. The peace of mind alone sometimes is worth its weight in gold.
Boss is dangerous today. I thought he'd a good mood. Yeah, I told you. Good moods. That's the worst.
My good moods are pretty dangerous, too. Now, we want to... Well, shoot. This is when I really start screwing up. Yep. Seriously? You're gonna alert? Look at your buddies. They're not worried. You overreacting, bro. That's a bit dramatic. Calm down. It's just a drafty wind taking out the torches. Seriously. Is that really worth an alert? Lowering the ambient light level in here can make a lot of difference, though, in terms of your ability to get in and out in a halfway low-key manner. Of course, these guys are not exactly what they appear to be either, but arguably they're more dangerous in their human form, I think. They seem to be able to take a lot more punishment. You know, if you look at the rat beasts or the ape beasts, you know, the debate has raged about whether or not they're ape beasts or rat beasts at the end of the first game. I know that the lore seems to favor the theory that they're actually ape beasts, but my response to that is apes don't have tails the way they do in this game. And second of all, if they were ape beasts, why do we actually then go ahead and see rat beasts later in Thief of the S? So, you know, it might be one or the other, but it's like neither way, it's
just the wind, I guess.
They're obviously both there. That's irrelevant to what we're doing right now, of course.
You've had it! You're a pincushion now!
Okay. We don't like to We don't like to have,
Time to take my new sword and get out of this crazy place.
I will be long gone by the time they get up here. Just gotta go for it. Alright, we're good. Now we just have to survive getting out of here. Anyway, whether they're rat beasts or ape beasts, if you look at the enemies in the later part of this game, look at their abdomens. There's something there that seems reminiscent of these guards' uniforms, but I think they're more dangerous as humans than they are as woodsy critters, frankly. They can take more punishment as humans. Yeah, quitting while you're ahead is not the same thing as quitting. There is some loot I'm taking a pass on. It's true. This is not going to be a max loot run, but we're not going to be we're not in any way, shape, or form going to be under-equipped for the Haunted Cathedral. Again, we do it the same way. We're not gonna run and make a lot of noise just because we have what we came for. We're gonna be a professional artist, just like Constantine wanted. Gonna do it the same way we did it coming in. So we're trying to get out of here, but it's not as though we've lost control of the situation. We haven't lost control of the situation, so we don't have to act like we have. Do it the same way. We have no reason to run, we don't run. So with that, I am going to see Garrett to the exit, and I will see all of you back next time for the Haunted Cathedral, at least the first calamitous jaunt, attempted jaunt to the Haunted Cathedral. It's a long, arduous level that gives a lot of newer Taffers significant difficulties, and I know this because for a long time on YouTube, my first Let's Play of the first Haunted Cathedral mission has been one of my most watched videos. It's been on the top 5 and certainly the top 10 for almost the entire time. So we will certainly see ourselves through that, but for now I will see everybody back next time. Later.